Republicans don't care about the context, they just care about how the issue makes them feel. Democrats are very contextual, they care about how and why. And Republicans are very visceral, they care about how they feel instinctually about an issue, but don't care so much to examine why. Let's use the border as an example. Just like Republicans, Democrats think people should be coming over legally, but when they come over illegally, they look at it and go, well, they're escaping a really tough situation, obviously they're looking for a better life, they contextualize the situation, add some humanity to it, and that affects how they look at the issue as a whole. But Republicans go, get the fuck away from me, this is my stuff, you have your stuff over there, I don't care if it's less, this is my shit. Because they don't care about the context, they're having their visceral reaction of, this is my stuff, get away from my stuff, which is a very human reaction. It's not to say it's wrong, it's just a very basic instinct reaction. How we handled COVID was another perfect example of this. Democrats were quick to say, yeah, I'll put on a mask and I'll socially distance and I'll do what you ask me to do to try to protect people who are less safe than I am. Not to say those things were right or wrong, it's just to say that Democrats erred on the side of caution to protect other people because they contextualized why they had to do the things they were asked to do. But Republicans said, get the mask off my face, keep the stores open, keep the schools open, make sure everything functions the way it's supposed to function. If people have to die for it, I don't care. I want my life to stay the same. Again, a very visceral reaction that's focused on their own wants and desires, and they're not able to fully contextualize the reasons why they were asked to do things that made them uncomfortable. You go down the list of every possible issue, and it's always going to be the same. And this is why Trump won the election, because Trump is exceptional at selling the visceral reaction. He could give a shit about the context. He couldn't explain the context of pretty much anything. But what he can do is prey on Republicans' desire to feel safe and protected. So instead of saying, hey, I'm going to solve this problem by doing X, Y, and Z, he just said, don't worry, I'm going to solve it. I know you're suffering. Let me come help you. And Democrats are spending all their time trying to contextualize the issues. Let me explain inflation. Let me explain housing prices. Let me explain gas prices. And look, I was no different. I made a million videos about that stuff because that's what I care about. I vote for Democrats because Democrats care about the context. Republicans could give a shit about the context. And that is how Trump won over a lot of voters, because they were feeling the strain of these complex issues. And instead of explaining them, he said, you are hurting, here is a promise that you won't anymore. It was an empty promise because he left out the context that makes his promise impossible, but that approach is what worked. And in the end, this isn't a comment on like Democrats are better people or smarter people than Republicans. It's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is the average Democrat is going to look at a situation and ask questions as to why and how is this going to happen. Republicans are not going to ask questions. They're going to feel their response and act on it. That is the fundamental difference between these two parties, and it's why everything feels so strained and pulled apart, because you could not be more different than wanting to ask questions and not giving a shit.